Today's video, we're going to take a look at some insane tips and tricks that you need to be using to help you get that final rank before the end of the season. Now go down into the comment section and let us know what else you'd like to see on the channel, and we'll do our best to bring it to you. Now make sure to hit that like button. Let's aim for 100 likes on this video. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit that sub button and the notification bell so you know when we upload our next video. And without me talking anymore, let's get started. It's Alan from the Dangleberries here, once again teamed up with Elevate to bring you some of these amazing tricks that you need to be using. And we're going to be starting off over here on Outback with this insane double mirror setup that you can use inside the party room on the second floor. Now what you need to do is make sure you reinforce all 4 of these walls, or you can leave one open if you prefer to have maybe head holes on that as well. Now right where these pair of shoes are on the ground, if you place a mirror window at the lowest point you possibly can on the wall and place it up there, you can then lay prone looking at the shoes and make sure you elevate yourself on top of the shoes, and you'll be able to stand up and place a mirror window above it. Now what you can do then is if you break the top mirror and lay crouched right behind the lower one, you'll be able to watch anyone coming in through games or coming in the window or pushing in towards Bull. Now of course you can set up the wall here so you can see all the way through games towards that door, which is the split between piano and showers, and you'll be able to watch everything that's going on from behind this lower mirror, and you can send C4s out. Now make sure to break some of the wall as well so you get even more visibility through that top mirror, and you can sit behind here and you can pop shots off of attackers pushing towards the bomb site, and like I said, you can send a C4 over, all safely behind the mirror. Now I have another double mirror one to show you here over on Lair, and a big shout out to Gustus for finding this a while back. Now this one is located down inside the first floor briefing room on this double wall. Make sure to reinforce both walls, and right where this chair is laying on the ground, if you lay prone next to it and make a small hole in the floor and stand, and make sure to prone in this little spot first too, and then you'll be able to place a mirror at the lowest point on that wall. You have to make sure it's at the lowest point, otherwise you won't be able to put the one above it. And then what you need to do is by getting on top of the chair that's on the ground by laying prone on it and then standing up, you'll be able to place another mirror window above it. Now it's the same as the first one that I showed you. You break the top one and you'll be able to sit behind the lower one and wait for anyone to push into that security room, and you can pop up and pick them off. Again, C4s can go through the window. You can also break the soft wall on the other side to get more visibility through that top mirror, and you can lay prone on the chair again to get even more of an elevated angle through the top of this mirror window. And moving on to Night Haven for this next one, and this is like an Azami setup that you can use down inside the basement level inside the Animus room. Now what you can do here is if they get that single wall open, normally you'd be peeking from the left or right side. What you can do here is if you lay prone next to the machine and put in a barrier right down in the very right corner, you'll be able to vault over the barrier up on top of the machine. You can then sit behind this little wall part here, and you can pop up and pick anyone off who's trying to push through the single wall. Now normally they'll be looking to either the left or the right side. They won't expect you to just pop up on top of it and pick them off, whether they're over by the triple wall or they're coming down the stairs from the helipad. So again, this is such a really strong little power position that you can be in if they do manage to get that single wall open. And I'll show you here as well when you go outside how far these bullets are hitting from, whether they're over by the triple wall side, you can see the bullets on the wall there, or they're coming down the stairs from the helipad. You can see the bullets right there. So as they're coming down, the second they come around that corner, you can pick them off. Moving on to Consulate for this next one, and this is a really strong angle that I like to use upstairs right inside the reception area just off the spiral staircase. So right next to the red carpet here, exactly where I pinned on the ground, if you shoot a hole in the floor, just one hole with the shotgun, it's perfect. You'll be able to see right onto the bottom of that spiral staircase. Now what you can do to back this up as well is if you can put a couple of goo mines down there so you can hear it. You could be holding up this area in reception, you hear the goo mine going off, and you can go over and look down through the hole. Now what's great about this hole in the ceiling here is when they're coming down this hallway to head towards the spiral staircase, it's out of their line of sight, so they won't see it until the very last second. And as they're pushing through to head up the staircase, you could either have some goo mines placed to trigger them, and then you can pick them off with relative ease. Moving on to border for this next one now, I have a couple of angles to show you here. Two really strong angles for vert play upstairs looking down inside of workshop. So right at the top of metal stairs, just at the front of this red carpet on the ground here, if you shoot a hole in the floor, you'll be able to see through that little top window all the way down into workshop. So if there's anyone holding over by the desk or over in the right corner, you'll be able to pick them off. And because this actually is outside of the workshop room, they'll be hearing the buck open it, but it'll be so small sound that they won't be able to hear it properly, and they won't expect you to be up in this spot. Now you can see here from the other perspective, you can see that it's outside of the room, so the sound, they might, if they're looking at it, of course they'll see it, but otherwise it is a really strong position to stop people holding positions inside of workshop. There's a second part to this for anyone holding that very back corner of workshop up inside offices on the second floor, right next to this pillar just off of the blue tarp. If you shoot a hole in the floor, you'll be able to see through that top window. For anyone sitting way back in that back corner behind that blue tarp that's covering the unit, and you'll be able to pick them off. And because the hole is in the hallway by bathroom, it's going to be really difficult for them to see this angle being opened up. Now you can see where the bullets are hitting down inside the site here, so a defender sitting behind this, peeking the door, but because it's outside the room, they'll hear the buckshots again, but they won't be able to see where it's coming from, especially if they're sitting in this back corner. So it's again a really strong angle to use to stop any defender's power positions. And moving on to cafe for this next, and this is one of my favorite angles to use. I love this one. Down inside the prep, now normally you can set this wall up in all different ways if you like, but if you reinforce the left side and then make holes in the top half of the wall and go upstairs inside of train right in front of that metal pallet, you'll be able to break a hole in the floor and see through the top of that half wall all the way out towards the bakery door. So if they're pushing towards bakery and they're making a strong push to try and get the walls open into kitchen, you'll be able to lay prone up here and watch them coming in the door, and you can see all the way out towards the back of the truck. So this is a really strong angle. I advise you trying this one out. It's worked for me so many times. Now, staying on cafe, I have a couple of zero cam setups that you need to be using. So I got 3 cams for you here, right outside the front of the building. If you look exactly where I pinpointed through this window and place a zero cam onto the underside of the floor above, you'll be able to pierce through the floor and have the cam be under the table in the corner of the new hatch area. You'll be able to watch all the way down towards piano, and depending on the placement, you should be able to see all the way over to heaven as well, and you can give some really good intel to your teammates. Now the second one is on the roof, a really straightforward one, again super effective. I've had this rarely shot out by defenders. Right down in the corner underneath that metal shelf, it's a really good spot to watch the default plant and the rotate inside a freezer or anyone sitting behind the bar counter. So again, a strong cam, very unlikely to be shot out. And then this third one is pretty simple but highly effective. If you use the other two, it really gives you a full view of the entire bomb site. So right onto the top of this chandelier, because the chandelier is a big one, it'll be difficult for defenders to see it, especially if they're running through cocktail and they didn't hear it being set up. They would never notice it on top of the chandelier. And moving on to chalet for this next one, and this is a really sick C4 spot. I've tried this out a couple of times, it's worked a treat for me. So what you do here is down inside kitchen, if you make a hole in the ceiling exactly where I pinpointed, and if you just break open a small section of the window, not the whole window, you'll be able to throw a C4 through the window and it will land anywhere outside of the building. Now, whether someone's rappelling up to this window if the bomb site is upstairs in the master bedroom, or they're going down into trench, you'll be able to throw a C4 and catch them completely off guard, whether they're pushing the top floor site or the basement site below. Now onto canal. Now I just showed this setup here on canal in the last video, which was the top 15 best Azami setups on canal. So I wanted you to make sure that if you haven't checked it out, to go check out the full video. The link is in the description. But this is such a really sick setup that you can use here. So in this basement hallway here, if you place one Kiba barrier right on the corner of that door frame, you'll have a small gap along the side of the barrier to see all the way down towards trench door. Now you can double up on this by placing one above it, and it creates that little small gap perfectly to keep your head safe for anyone coming down the main stairs, and you can watch anyone pushing that trench door. So it's a really strong one, and if you want to see the full video, like I said, the link is in the description. So that's it for the video today, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the comment section what your favorite trick was from the video today. And again, if there's anything you'd like to see on the channel, let us know. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that sub button and the notification bell so you know when we upload our next videos. And if you haven't got your hands on any of the Elevate skin bundles yet, they make sure to check them out in the Or6 shop. The most recent one being the Maverick one. It is fire, so you'd have to check that one out. But until next time, I'll talk to you in the next one.